Oh yeah, what episode are we on?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dissonant Waves. We are on episode 88.
And yes, it is currently just Trix and Domino. Ritz is having some issues with his laundry room flooding, it sounds like. And so we're gonna introduce the albums and maybe get to start talking about one of them. And this week we have two albums and three EPs. The albums are Foxy Shazam. Let me hold up. I need to pull it up. I'll start with Birds of Tokyo Universes. Foxy Shazam's The Heart Behead You. And then for the EPs, we had Sisyfuss's You'll Find It in the End, Wait by Arlie, and Good Dog, Bad Dreams by Hippocampus.
Nice. Yeah, enough
Yes,
things you can count on a hand.
indeed. Should we start with the one that Ritz said he had really nothing to talk about?
Sure, let's do it. Let's talk about old Foxy Shazam, my pick. Uh, this is a band that I listened to in high school that broke up in 2014 that I was a huge fan of, and then they came back together in 2020, and I found that the reuniting album Burn was bad. I didn't like it. And I thought, maybe not have that one on the podcast, but I do want Foxy on the podcast eventually. And sure enough, we're here now with the next album, The Heart Behead You. And it's better, but
Still not great.
yeah, so the way I liken it is like if you're on the highway and you're driving behind somebody and they're going 45 miles per hour, like the speed minimum, and it's like a maximum of like 60, like you could go faster.
Yeah,
You could definitely
just
do more.
just putzing along.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of while listening to this is just we have Georgie fruit at home, and this is the Georgie fruit that your mom had at home.
And as someone who was a big fan of Montreal and Foxy, like I don't super see the comparison because Foxy is very glam rock in a way that I think Georgie and the like skeletal lambing era is very funk
Mhm.
embracing as well as glam rock. I don't
It
know.
it still has those glam rock stylings though, which carries it.
I feel like Foxy is meant to be a little more masculine, or at least like erotically masculine.
Gotcha.
They're being cheeky about it, but like ultimately, rah, rah,
Yeah. It
Henry.
this just did not really click at me at all, and it was actively reminding me of another artist that I would have rather listened to.
I mean, the one song I think that actually is the most reminiscent of what Foxy is like is the first one, "I'm in Love." That's like a introduction song.
Yeah. I the only time where I was like, "Oh, this song's pretty good," is on Heart, and then I just fell off.
Yeah, their albums have become really short and really like just insular.
Yeah.
It's a 9-track album. One of them is very short. The others are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So
There's
ultimately,
there's nothing wrong with that.
no, but it's like it's a
Yeah.
random record you'd find in a record store. It's just A side, B side, nothing special.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes you just need the nothing special A side, B side records, but I'm not, this isn't a good one, but it's there.
I just am disappointed because it's like looking back even at when they went softer and made Gonzo, which was the album before they broke up. I like that album because it felt cohesive. It felt, you know, like it was structured to mean something because all the songs kind of
Yeah,
built on each other until the last song, which kind of reflected on everything. And that was produced by
yeah,
like Steve Albini. It was more of a huge thing where they had just broken away from major labels and everything. And the band has largely been replaced. There's only a couple people left. Eric Sean Nolly being the singer, and I think Schuller White, the keyboardist, is still there. I think that's who the other person is.
all right.
And I think the thing that still works about Foxy is that Eric Sean Nolly is a great singer still.
Yeah,
I don't think his vocals
yeah,
have been super showcased here,
yeah. The vocals are kind of a highlight of the album.
but I feel like the whole thing is like mixed. Like no matter how you're listening to it, it sounds like it's coming from a phone.
Yeah, I definitely can see that now that you mention it. Very, very flat and two dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Like not a lot of room for growth.
Whereas like previous Foxy albums have experimented with like walls of sound and a lot of like different production technique styles, different kinds of instrumentation. But this just feels very kind of bog standard.
Yeah. My cat just scared the shit out of me. Sorry. I just heard a scraping noise, and I'm like, I see her paw, and I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, Foxy Shazam. I derailed that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm looking, and I know that one of the new members is a person of the masked persuasion. One of those like we don't know who you actually are kind of figures.
Gotcha.
And they have like the worst name possible.
Oh, what is it?
If you had to guess what like a edgy name a band like this might pick would be, what do you think it would be?
I'm drawing a blank.
Try Trigger Warning.
What?
The guitarist is named Trigger Warning.
Jeez.
I am not late to this podcast at all.
Hello. We were seeing how far we can go without you. Welcome
yeah,
to
we
the
made it.
show.
We made it pretty far into Foxy Shazam, and my cat scared the shit out of me.
Oh, fair enough.
Ash is here too. Hello, Ash.
Yeah, she's just in the background. We've had a little bit of a mishap in the laundry a bit earlier. It's caused the whole flooding apartment-wide. No, we have a shared laundry downstairs. Yeah, bit of a flood incident there. So unfortunately, a little late to this, but I am here now. I have no idea what we have covered, but
I was just talking about how the guitarist of Foxy Shazam, who's new, most of the band is new in these last couple albums. They're a masked person, and their name is Trigger Warning.
That's kind of cringe. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
very cringe.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
And like Foxy's always kind of been like cheeky and supposed to be like, you know, a little parodic, but I feel like that's just kind of like, okay, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's like I want them to elaborate further, but I don't want them to talk.
Because like they've always kind of read the line of like, okay, is this like meant to be objectifying? Is this offensive in some way, or is it like more?
That's more interesting to talk about than the actual album.
But that's the old stuff. That's the old albums. That was before they broke up and then came back and have like produced albums that are just not the same. Like I was saying to Ritz or to Trix, the only song I feel like that captures what Foxy was the first one, "I'm in Love."
I think I did listen to a bit of the singles for the album before this when you announced it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do the Foxy Shazam album. Then you listened to it and you didn't want to.
Yeah, for the previous one, Burn, it was just that disappointing.
Yeah, and I mean, listening to this, it's kind of like, oh, Burn was disappointing. I don't want to fucking listen to it.
This is better.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah,
Burn was very weird and like disjointed because I think they could divide it into like two teams during lockdown. Had worked on different songs. And then, like, yeah, they were just too different to really work together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listening to this album, I think I've given this album like 3 listens. I think 2 or 3. Can't tell you exactly by heart, but it was a very like it struck me as very pretentious the whole fucking way through, and even the last track, which did that, still kind of struck me as it. But at least that one was actually like okay to listen to. Like I can remember just on the song Heart, which is supposed to be like, oh yeah, we're doing this in the kind of like I set up an abuser kind of way. It's like really they didn't bring anything new to the table. The lyrics weren't actually like interesting, and I don't know, they don't have good enough music to follow up or at least like catch my interest. It just struck me as like a band that was trying to actually do something, or at least, well, not trying to actually do something, but trying to pretend like they were.
I mean, this was an album released on Valentine's Day, so maybe they were trying to have the love angle be a thing, but I feel like it's such a generic angle that it didn't really work.
Yeah.
It's like 4 of the songs have love in the title, and then there's Heart, and then the others are like nothing super like interesting or intriguing to remember as like a title. Like, this isn't like Wannabe Angel or Unstoppable era Foxy. This is just like, yeah, Kingdom Come, nothing to lose, only love. Songs
It's
you
also
hear anywhere.
very late in I guess the history of mankind to put out a song called "Dancing with My Demons." It's not as eye catching as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only line I remember from the whole album, or one of the only lines. Dancing with my demons, trying to conceal my boner. They're humorous.
I can see why you got distracted by the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe with Burn we could have actually dunked on it more.
Right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll tell Ritz how I've been describing it. I've just been describing it as we've got Georgie fruit at home.
Yeah. I feel like that's an insult to even the worst of Montreal album.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Kevin is not on a good streak, they're at least ambitious as hell.
Yeah.
Like the last album, which I wouldn't even say is anywhere like of Montreal. The last album, which was like their return to form, which still wasn't even as good as some of their peak, was still kind of like it didn't feel like a collection of sounds for the sake of it. It felt like a collection of sounds that actually wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the weird thing too we were talking about is how this is mixed so weirdly, where it just sounds like it's coming from a phone. Like there's no like bombast. Everything's really tight. And just it like the sound is like it just sounds closed up. Like everything is just coming through the same channels. There's no like sonic landscape to really sink into.
That's a accurate description.
Apologies for making you start with an album and dragging it on until I got here.
It's fine. I mean, there's really not much else to say, unfortunately. Like, it's better than last time, but Foxy is not what Foxy used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're out of date. Maybe they're past their prime. Wasn't there a band? Some of them we listened to talking about bands going out of style or out of prime?
Shit. I don't know.
I don't remember. But, you know, they've been around. I think actually it might have been Ritz talking about after 15 years, you probably hit your peak or you keep doing new things.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple, like, I can't remember saying it, but I definitely would have said it because I agree with it. There definitely acts have, like, their peak popularity is within the first 15 years usually, and then, like, you have a select few that kind of, like, somehow are still popular and as, like, renowned critically as they were 15 years ago. I mean, the big one's usually Radiohead with that, but, like, you look at a lot of their upper... Like, you would think, oh, you go back into the days and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, these artists, but a lot of those artists didn't last more than 10 years. Remember, the Beatles are only, like, 10 years.
Led Zeppelin's only 10 years about?
Yeah.
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 A lot of these people think differently because they're still popular today, but that's not what's meant by it. It's meant by, like, the new stuff. I don't know if Foxy Shazam was really even popular at all.
Back then, like back during their first run, like it was like they were indie, they were up and coming, they were getting onto like the major labels. Then for the last album
just according to Wikipedia, they peak onto the chart at all until 2010, and that was at 151. Yeah. Then 2 years later, 115, only on US. And the thing that also is like really kind of like going like about it is that they did chart on the US alternative and the US rock charts as well, but with the US rock, once at 50 with the first one and the second one at 35, and then only that second one on the old 4. So it's like they weren't ever popular; they're just there.
I mean, I think the Church of Rock and Roll might have been the biggest shot they had when they were on like IRS records. Their self-titled was on Sire. Like Sire is like a Warner label, but nothing ever super.
Steph is one of them.
Well, this last label that they're on, EUR, seems to be the most that they stay on that label for.
It's their label.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be why.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Foxy should have stayed dead when they did Gonzo.
Steph is one of
broke
them.
up after that.
She turned
Yeah.
right in front of me. She is one of them. She turned right in
I
front of me.
got no favorite. Least favorite, which is Closer.
Your least favorite's the closer?
Turned right in front of me.
No, my favorite is Closer.
Gotcha.
Least.
Gotcha.
My favorite's probably like the opener. I'm in love. That's the one that feels most like a Foxy song, so I like that one. Least favorite? I don't really care. The rest of it.
Yeah, favorite, heart, least favorite, the rest of it. It's not great. I'm probably not gonna come back to this at all.
I probably will.
Probably gives that kind of whole like chance that you might.
What was that?
I don't. Saying probably gives a chance that you do come back. I actually just can't see you go back.
Yeah, I most probably won't. Who knows? There'll be a slim hair chance that I might be like, hey, I want to listen to that mediocre Foxy Shazam album.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, if we ever cover one that we tend to actually like, that maybe holds up.
Maybe I'll come back to it at that
come
point.
back to it to compare, but that's the only worth it really has at this point. It's just being like, yeah, they were better. Well, let's move on to something else that's more interesting, maybe.
Yes.
So we've only done the Foxy Shazam, right?
Yes.
Trix, what do you want to talk about next?
Yeah, which
why don't we go to the Hippocampus one? Good Dog, Bad Dreams.
All right. Yeah, I kind of like Hippocampus now.
Yeah, this is their best work. Like, no joke, it's their best work.
I don't know if I like it more than a debut, but like, good return to form.
I like this. There are songs I like on this way more than than a lot of the songs I like off of Landmark.
It's definitely better than LP3 as well, which I was actually hyped for LP3. I was hyped for LP3 after this. It's like,
so was I.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
LP3 was just kind of a disappointment compared to this EP.
I didn't listen to it. My understanding is that generally this EP kind of spawned because Mojo Jojo was one of the songs they were making for LP3 and it didn't fit, but they liked it enough that they wanted to make something around it.
Damn.
So they built an EP off of older songs and B-sides that they kind of had, and there you go.
Maybe that explains why I like it so much, is because it's older stuff and B-sides.
Well, like not release B-sides, I guess, just kind of like other stuff they had.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Sex Tape is an absolute fucking classic off here. I think.
Oh God, yeah.
No.
I think just the vocal melodies and like flows on it are just so fantastic. I do like how rambly that they get on the lyrics on it as well.
Yes, that was surprising.
Yeah.
No, she was a
I do like that the instrumentation tries to be a bit more experimental on here as well. I know a lot of people were disappointed with Bambi. I haven't particularly listened to it properly to actually.
I was disappointed by it.
And I like Landmark. I have the vinyl after I ordered the CD.
I like songs off Landmark.
I'm not too big of a fan of like the second half of this EP compared to the first. Like I still like this EP. This is my number 8 of 2021 for me. But I think it has also just a strong start to this as well. Like I like just how kind of like autobiographical he just kind of gets, like in Bad Dream Baby, where he's just talking. He's kind of talking like it's like a diary entry.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain like all of it, but I just like it a lot. It's just very rambly. It's it's somewhat metaphorical, but not really too much. It allows it to stay grounded to earth, despite having this kind of like weird production happening with it, and it's just really fucking catchy.
Like it starts as a song about like the dog dying, and then he goes on to like Britney Spears.
Yeah, on Bad Dream Baby.
Yeah, like that's kind of an example of how like off the wall it is.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up how her dad runs her life.
But hey, it was topical.
Yeah.
I mean, I think.
I was actually paying attention to the singles when they released on this one.
Yeah, I think this is.
And go ahead.
I think it's cool because they're experimenting with hyperpop, basically.
Yeah.
Which they probably should have stuck a bit with.
Yeah. My favorite parts of the older Hippocampus stuff is when they kind of just let it all hang out and got noisy. And this EP is just kind of a lot of that.
I mean, I full disagree that this is better than Landmark, but like yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised of how much I liked this, and I hadn't listened to this in full, admittedly, for a while, so it was kind of like, hey, was I just like hyping it up for no reason? But like, no, it's still good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was disappointed by Landmark. I thought Buttercup was a bad ending, and the only songs I really ended up liking were The Way It Goes and Boyish.
There'll be no slander towards Vines, please.
I haven't listened to Landmark since we did the episode. Really, only those two songs have stuck with me. But like this
Landmark's
EP,
fucking good.
this EP, it will stick with me more overall. I can find myself going back to this in its entirety more often.
Mhm. I would just like to throw out that I rock a winter pair of flip flops pretty much every day.
Where's that a line from? Which one?
That's from Sex Tape.
Oh, okay, I didn't pick that. I didn't catch up on that one. I did write a lot down of the lyrics that I liked though.
There's a lot of just fun lyrics on the CP.
You're cool. You're really on a roll. I wanna be like you when I get
Like you when I
older.
was older. Yeah. Fun EP. Really, really fun EP.
It's a bit hard to go like further into it because it is kind of short.
Yeah.
EP that we did.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's a classic either. Like I don't think when we go back and talk about Hippocampus, like you might say, oh, it's my favorite film or anything, but when it comes down to the historical impact that they've made, whether that be very tiny or not, you'd still be talking about Landmark.
Right.
Yeah, more than this. But it's a fun little addition to their discography, and it's good to know that even if they are a pretty inconsistent band, there is still a reason to kind of like wait on them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're indie, but they do try their best to make their songs sound unique still. Like they don't just rely on it being an indie sound.
Yeah.
They try to be hyperpop. They try to do different, like the way the lyrics of Sex Tape go are just so weird. Like, they are just literally stumbling over everything. Like
Yeah,
it's a guy trying to walk home drunk at 3 a.m.
It's very like narratory. I can't think of the word right now, but very point of viewy.
Yes. Thank God for the Christian mothers.
Mm-hmm.
But compared to something like Sisyfuss or Arlie.
Yeah, it's not as good as either of those, if you ask me. But
that wasn't where I was going. But continue.
Oh, fair enough. But I think it can hold its own along as something different, and just I really enjoyed it.
Favorite song, probably Bad Dream Baby and Mojo Jojo. Least favorite song, Where to Now.
Favorite song, Sex Tape, and I really don't have a least favorite song. I just really like the CP a lot. Should we stall for time while Ritz gets his Band-Aid, or should we continue on to another pick?
We can continue on to another pick while he Band-Aids himself. He is indeed.
Yes.
Let's talk about Arlie, the band that has the indie rock sound that I was complaining about.
I actually really like this album the CP, if I'm gonna be honest.
It's cool that they're kind of like on a major label out the gate and they have a consistent sound.
Yeah.
But there's only one song on here that I found memorable or good that I liked a lot.
Can I take a guess?
Yes.
Did you think?
No.
Damn. Not Barcelona Boots.
No.
Hold up, let me pull up the track
I'm back,
list.
by the way.
Favorites and least favorites.
Favorite Sex Tape, least favorite. Forgot what the second last track is called.
Where'd you know?
Fair.
Yeah, so
and we're talking about Arlie now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Trix is trying to guess which track off of this EP that I actually liked a lot.
Big Fat Mouth?
Nope.
Shit. Water Damage?
You guessed everything but the right one.
Too Long?
Tossing and Turning.
Damn.
Tossing and Turning is the one song that I legitimately like from the CP.
I like a few from the CP.
Everything else just sounds like it's there. It's a band that has potential. But what do you like about it?
I just the vibe speaks to me. I can't really explain it. They're like I found this album through Did You Think, and I really like Did You Think. And so that was basically me picking this EP as like, okay, I like this one song. Let's see how the EP is, because I really wanted to do Sisyfuss, which we'll get to later.
And I can't concentrate at the moment. Scratch me. Played like a motherfucker.
Sorry, dude.
I don't know what the fuck's happened.
What's going on?
I don't know. I just like scratched myself a little because I had like a little like pimple or something before, but then it's not a huge hole, but it was bleeding a lot. It's fucking weird.
Damn.
If anyone has medical advice, please comment and
Please comment. We'll get your message in about a month.
Yes. Pour some Everclear on the wound.
well, it's not.
Maybe some Neosporin.
Yes.
Some alcohol in general, or a tonic or ointment of some sort.
And maybe imbibe some alcohol and tonic.
Indeed.
Maybe. This Arlie one, that going into the actual like albums that we're covering, I liked it, but I can't fucking remember.
That's fair.
Like the thing I kept saying was like, okay, cool. It's getting streams. It's acceptable.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do the falsetto thing. They have like the cutesy, fun instrumentation that sounds kind of psychedelic at times, but then kind of just like indie.
That's a fair assessment.
It's vibes. I get that it's vibes. I can see why they're on a major label because they definitely have that sound. But
yeah,
I think I would like their kind of deeper cuts. It sounds like if I like Tossing and Turning the most.
Yeah, they don't have a lot out there, but looks like we're gonna get an album soonish. So
it took 3 years to release singles after this, which I have to commend at least for like giving it a while and trying your best.
Yeah, but it's just fun indie pop, I think.
I like when they try different things, when artists really go out there and sure they have something that sounds like a trend, but they figure out a way to turn it and twist it and make it something else.
That's totally fair.
Like Tossing and Turning, I think has kind of that it's indie kind of feel to it, but it's also kind of a weird bossa nova track or something. Kind of there's something else to it that I think is kind of cool. It stands out where it's kind of chill and just you're vibing to it. And I think the way that you're talking about, but you have it across the whole EP.
It's definitely kind of bossa nova-y. I just kind of gave it like a quick 5-second listen, and I totally get where you're coming from, and that is a good song. But my defense is just like the rest of the album is like sometimes you just need like a bag of popcorn at the movies, and you just need that bland saltiness because it's just what you need at that moment. And I feel like Arlie is one of those bands for me where it's just like I need kind of like this bland indie pop.
Sure, I guess. I feel like that's maybe doing a little bit of disservice, but
I'm totally doing it a disservice with that explanation, but I feel like that's just like the easiest way to get across how I like it.
Yeah. Ritz is off again, but we're still talking.
This is going to be an interesting episode.
Yes, it will be.
Heavy on the tricks, which some of the past ones really haven't been.
Yes, I'm very glad to have you here. How's your hip doing?
I can walk now. I walked to the Dollar General thinking I would be fine, and oh no, I'm not fine.
Yeah, my wrist is getting better as well.
Oh, that's good.
I'm able to use it somewhat, but it's not fully healed. I don't know, let's go through this track by track. What do you specifically like about Big Fat Mouth?
I really like the kind of just the lyrics of it, and just that kind of simple. It gives off the same kind of vibe as like a Peter, Bjorn, and John song, and I really am a fan of them.
Like I kind of got a little bit of Landmark vibe from it too.
Yeah, and like I appreciate the vibes of like a trying to reconstruct a relationship song that sounds this kind of upbeat and happy.
I know according to their history, Big Fat Mouth was like worked on as a solo project before the band kind of came together.
Gotcha.
That's
I
how
didn't
the rest
know
of
that.
the EP exists.
I did not know that.
The what's the singer's name? Hey, look, the singer of Arlie is named. Oh shit! Another page.
Well, while you look that up, I guess I will give a review of
Nate
Coca-Cola
Banks.
Starlight.
Yeah, Nate Banks, and give us that Starlight
Nate
review.
Banks. It tastes like graham crackers, and I can't explain it.
Is that like? Is there more to it than that, or is it just graham crackers?
And like, the aftertaste is kind of like, it still tastes like that shitty fountain, like Pepsi. You'd get it like an old Kmart. Like they have not cleaned the pipes out, and you're getting like some mold.
God, the hint of death is in the air.
Yeah, which I mean, for the taste of space makes sense. But like, I just have graham crackers filling my sinuses while I drink it.
That's very cinnamon.
Yeah, and like those baking spice notes.
Interesting. I know someone was comparing it to like the mystery, like Dum Dum flavor.
Those are actually have like an explanation though, because the mystery flavor is just what they would run through while cleaning tanks, and just sell it.
Interesting. My comment about Arlie was gonna be that Nate Banks was working by himself on Big Fat Mouth, and then basically I think the thing was he was working on that for like a long time, and then he needed the band to kind of help him go faster.
Yeah.
Which, I guess if you're in the same spot with a lot of these songs, maybe that's why a lot of them sound alike. You're kind of getting people to help you polish that sound, and then, I don't know, maybe that's where, after that is where a tossing and turning comes in that tries to be a little bit different.
Yeah. Maybe that's get a little bit more of an influence from the rest of the band.
What do you like about Water Damage?
Give me a second to just... Oh yeah, that one. That opening instrumentation, it feels it kind of feels like even more like indie rock version of like an M83 song.
Uh-huh.
And as someone who appreciates M83 in small amounts, by diluting the flavor of M83, I just find it more palatable.
Try to find a way to Coca-Cola Starlight M83.
Yeah.
And then since you guys did your think first, I'm guessing that's the one you like the most?
I think so. I really appreciate the sentiment of like, did you, I didn't think you'd be the guy who worked the 9 to 5 and give up on your dreams. It's like, I feel that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I could ever do that. That seems like a death knell for me.
Yeah. And like, as someone who's been thinking about hanging up my blue collar and putting on a white one, I really feel it's like shit, I might have to get a 9 to 5.
Damn. That's rough.
But yeah, and so like I just appreciate that like angle, like shit, yeah. But like, yeah.
And I guess that's interesting. I think the perspective of that is interesting, given this is like a band putting out their debut, and like that's a very real thing for them. I think. Like, I don't know them all in their
Definitely.
circumstances, but traditionally.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So this is kind of it's bleeding a bit and stuff like that, and it's not anything too serious or anything. But I am unfortunately sorry. I am gonna have to call it here. Take care of this at the moment. And by the time that I'm done,
Oh, sorry, shit.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Okay.
I have things. Yeah, sorry. Today's gone really out of plan, and I'm really sorry about this.
Oh, that's all right. It happens to the best of us.
What are you doing next week, at least?
I haven't chosen for next week.
All right. Well, let us know then.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Yeah.
All right.
See you.
Then.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that's interesting.
Hope everything is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Arlie, favorites, tossing and turning. I think did you think is nice? I guess it has some interesting work in it, but I don't know. I don't really have a strong least favorite of this bunch.
Favorite for me, definitely Did You Think and Big Fat Mouth, and I really don't have a least favorite.
All right, since we're on this EP train, what do you want to talk about?
Should we break the EP train for whatchamacallit, Birds of Tokyo, or should we go to just continue on to the EP with Sisyphus?
Talk about Sisyphus. I want you to tell me about it. Tell me why you like it.
I discovered this EP listening to the radio on my front porch while smoking weed, and it came in with the last song, "The End," and I just really appreciated the vibe and the thematic styling of that song so hard that I just fell in love with the whole EP because of how well that song hit me.
Okay, interesting. I feel like this EP is another one of those lo-fi indie EPs or albums even that we've kind of listened to before.
Yeah, it's a return to form for like kind of the weird shit I used to do.
Like I'm picturing like Beach Goons, a little bit of like Liquids, a little bit of even Stomach Book actually.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Like the singer Josh has a little bit of that Stomach Book kind of vibe to him.
Yeah.
Like I always appreciate when a singer isn't great, but they're still trying, and somehow they're able to make the songs work even with it.
Yeah, it's the whole kind of Mac DeMarco effect.
Yeah, like Claret Girl, the opener. You know, it's very lo-fi. It sounds like it's coming from a car radio and like outside through the window or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you got the clap track because he's doing all this by himself, which I was surprised to learn because it does sound like there's a band, but it's all him.
Yeah, it does. It's impressive for just a one guy operation.
Yeah, his vocals sound, I guess, desperate's like a good word for it.
Yeah.
So, you know, he makes it work.
Like Claret Girl, he's like all scared because there's monsters out there, and he needs to talk to his girlfriend because she takes all the fears and anxieties away.
Interesting. I did not look into the lyrics of this, but I felt that since they weren't super surfaced, it wasn't the most important thing.
They're all some form of love song.
Yeah, I think.
Except for Kim Kelly.
Kim Kelly's like a critic, I think, right?
I don't know.
I think there's like a metal critic or someone named Kim Kelly or something like.
Freelance writer. Let's see here. Teen Vogue. And yeah, I'm getting Teen Vogue.
Okay.
Although there was also Kim Kelly is my friend from Freaks and Geeks.
So maybe there's something to it.
Maybe.
It's a callback to that.
Yeah, because I know that Freaks and Geeks is like a pretty cult TV show.
Yeah. This isn't one I super remember a ton of all the songs.
Yeah,
but it's surfy, so I can see how you'd like it.
Yeah, a little bit. It's got that really bright guitar, especially on like the end, where it just comes in crashing with that big high up energy. Yeah, I can definitely see where you get surfy vibes from it.
Like, you know, this is an album that's not quite Arlie level of popularity, where Arlie's songs are like millions and millions of streams, but some of these songs have a couple million, so it's getting attention.
Yeah.
I can see like with the end being more thrashy and wild, and his vocal styling, it does change a bit. He gets more, not rapping exactly, but faster.
Yeah.
Like that's at least interesting to listen to. So maybe people kind of pick up on that vibe.
Yeah.
Allergy seemed to be another one that had some attention.
Yeah.
There's an anime music video somehow for it.
Yeah, looking at the lyrics for the end, it's kind of about how the end of his life is coming because it's boring. Is what it feels like.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about this, also reminds me of like a Meth Wax too.
Yeah, and like that sample at the end of it.
Which sample?
of the end. That's from the Truman Show. The
Oh, yeah.
you want another slice? No, I'm okay. What else is on
Gotcha.
that
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Forgot about that for a second. This sounds like a meth wax kind of thing, but there's nothing quite like what was that song? Swimming in a sea of
Sea of blowjobs.
blowjobs. Yeah, that was like that made an impression right away.
Yeah.
And like this has some
Uh,
fun stuff, but
yeah.
I guess I'm like you clearly like it a lot, so I'm just trying to feel like where you're coming from with this.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I form strange connections to albums when I through like a means of discovery, and this is a big one for me.
Like when were you listening to it first?
Um, I forget exactly what was on the radio, but I had like some kind of like indie pop. I think it had shit like Wallows and that sort of vibe on it. And then the end came in, and I'm like, holy shit, that caught me off guard. That is good. And I just kind of checked out the whole EP, and yeah,
Like,
like
is this recent or like a couple years
yeah,
ago?
this was recent, like January.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I listened to the other stuff that he put out, and it's not as good.
Yeah, he has an
But
album
this,
out too.
yeah, it's not great. Like it's nowhere near as good as this EP is, at least.
Would you rather listen to the Foxy album or that album?
um, that album, I think I'd rather listen to the New Happiness by Sisyfuss.
Okay. Okay. I looked him up on Twitter. He seems like a relatively normal artist, singer type. He likes his
Yeah.
sports. He apparently likes Guilty Gear Strive a lot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't see the connection. Sounds very kind of like the others. It has some interesting ideas and uniqueness to it, but nothing that blows me away.
Fair enough. I think for me, this might be my Origami Angel. Like just how you took to Origami Angel, I just took to this one album.
That's totally fair. I can appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have no way to know how Ritz would have rated this album.
yeah, that's
So
been new for us.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Hope everything is going okay over in Team
Yeah.
Australia land.
Let's hope the country doesn't go on fire again.
And his cuts are healed
Yes.
quickly. Anything else you want to say about Sisyphus?
I really like this album. I feel like if you're gonna listen to one song off of any of the 3 EPs I chose this week, listen to the end.
I was a tossing and turning personally, but if this one really means that much to you, yeah, the end, I guess is one to listen to as well.
Yeah. So yeah. Favorites, least favorites?
My favorite, I don't know. I don't really have one. It's kind of just there for me.
That's fair.
Right.
For me, favorites, the end, Claret Girl, and no least favorites.
Okay. That leaves us then with Ritz's album, Birds of Tokyo's
Yeah.
Universes.
So
I don't have a ton of lead in from him, but let me look at my notes and try to present something. Talk for a second, please.
okay. I'm gonna be honest. This was mediocre.
Yeah, so this is a side project from a couple of different bands, Tragic Delicate and Carnivore. This is one of the more, I guess, popular rock acts out of Australia in like the 2000s. They kind of got big really quickly and were recording in Hollywood and really big producers and stuff like that kind of quickly. Like they were touring in support of bigger acts like Muse and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think Ritz kind of framed it as this is a bit more mainstream than he usually picks, but he likes it, so whatever.
Yeah.
I ended up really liking this. it's definitely like a more mainstream popular pop album, but I dug it.
This did not click with me at all.
Like it seemed like it was, I don't know, like it was ambitious, like not completely, but like a lot of the songs were different. A lot of they were sung differently. Like Ian Kenny, who I know Ritz wanted to rant and talk about, is like he apparently isn't like in love with Ian Kenny or something. I don't know, but it was. I know that this is the second album that came like a year after the first, and they were just very basically just really gunning at like getting somewhere with this while they were still working on this and not their other projects. Trying to find my notes to go more in depth.
This album, it didn't really click with me. I guess I'm just not a big fan of the style of music, but I will say at least this album didn't make me think of a better artist to listen to.
Yeah, it's not Foxy.
Yeah.
I guess where I would probably start with this is like I think the opening is great. Uno into Broken Bones, because Uno is like the fade in kind of intro and kind of like amps you up, gets you excited, and then like the jingle guitars come in and kind of start going, and the drums start going, and it sounds kind of just rocking and nice. It's 2000s rock, which which is not maybe the best, most popular thing in the world. Kind of went astray a bit. Not like the early 2000s, but the later ones was never really quite recovered, I guess.
Yeah, that's a very accurate statement.
But I think Broken Bones, Wild Eyed Boy's a great one. It's got a good hook. It's kind of heavy and it's just fun. I think I just say this song fucks because it's a good track. I really like Wild Eyed Boy.
That's fair enough.
Then you kind of there's more singles. Like Silhouettic was like the first single, and like that's when I started noticing the vocals were a bit different. Like felt like Silhouettic was kind of like a proto like late era Panic song, or like a later days MCR track.
Yeah, I got a lot of that kind of vibe off this album.
Yeah, like it's a bit more mainstream rock sounding than those, but there's some commonalities there, I think.
Yeah.
I think another great track is the one after that, Head in My Hands, because again, really knows how to write a good hook or a phrase that just sticks with you. I hate my melodies; they're all the same. Kind of just going into that side of things, a little more mellow.
Mm-hmm.
You have anything to say in these tracks, or you kind of just keep going?
I again, this all just kind of bled together.
Yeah.
I remember marking down that I liked something about White Witch. I couldn't tell you what, but this album is just, every time I hear like a rock song from like the late 2000s, early 2010s, my mind just blanks over because I don't remember what the fuck I was doing those days.
Gotcha.
I was a fucking kid. So I can't explain the phenomenon that goes in my head, but I'm trying to think about it and I'm just hearing the color gray.
Like White Witch I have down is like, this is the more White Stripesy song.
That might be explain why I like it.
To that is kind of where they get more experimental, and he kind of does another vocal style. I don't remember which one. This is the one that was more like new metal, post rock, or like not post rock, but like post grunge kind of style. That was a different song. Armor for Liars was another heavier song that was a mix of like acoustic and electric. And then kind of the vocals were mixed kind of lower than the other songs. I was fascinated by how the vocals sound like they were trying different things and it kept changing. So the Baker's Son was like the longer one, another mellow one, and that like they kind of took a break and did like a falsetto part, and they kind of go back into the main part of the song. When you start noticing the strings, then kind of like the later tracks after that are not as good. I don't like Trainwrecks and Medicine. I don't really remember as much as others, but I thought overall this album, the singles half of the album was good, and then like it wasn't as good after that. But the other deeper cuts still were pretty interesting to listen to. But if you don't have much to say, I'm just gonna keep talking and talking. So
Go for it. I'll interject when I can, but again, I just hear the color gray when I think about this album.
I mean, I can see that. It's kind of a melancholic gray album at times.
Yeah. It feels very of the style of like, okay, yeah, this is 2008. Like the whole chunk. I basically just associate this kind of vibe with like the whole chunk from like 2008 to like 2012.
I mean, this isn't Conditions. This
Mhm.
isn't what was that album that Ritz picked that we neither of us liked.
Yeah. Like I didn't hate it, but I couldn't tell you what it's about. It was I didn't want to shut it off, but I didn't want to listen deeper, I guess.
Yeah, I like this album. I'm probably gonna buy it and come back to it. Hopefully, I can get an iPod or something soon again where I can listen to this
Oh
more
man.
easily.
Yeah, hopefully you solve your iPod problem.
Yeah, iPod Touches are like $400 still.
I don't think we touched on what happened to your iPod in the last episode, but it took a dive, and that's all we'll say.
Yeah, like all three of my iPods are now out of commission for different reasons. It sucks.
If I might make a suggestion, because I know you like the classic iPod form factor,
Yes.
get yourself a second gen iPod Mini.
Uh-huh.
So like look for one that has where the buttons are the same colors as the chassis of the iPod,
Yeah.
and you can really easily flash mod those things up to 256 gigabytes.
Yeah. I need to
Like
learn to do
it's
the mods. I know.
yeah, it's like stupid easy to do.
Like my third, like my backup iPod. I think I like fried it or something because it's like an infinite loading loop now. Whenever I try to connect it,
Oh man,
like it like locks my computer down. Like it will not run when it's
I
plugged in.
am I am sorry about that, man.
I remember when I was using the button for like up menu stopped working.
Yeah.
Like it still is usable. I can like use it to like, okay, if I put it on shuffle and just start at the beginning, I could still use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also a fairly easy fix. I think you just have to replace the click wheel.
Yeah. I never like to look into dank pods. I just don't have time yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
I really dug this album. I have never really listened to Birds of Tokyo, but I probably will start more. Yes.
Album okay.
Favorites: Head in My Hands, Broken Bones, All That Boy. Least favorite, like Trainwrecks or Medicine.
I really couldn't give you a definitive favorite or least favorite off this album.
It's fair. I feel like our energy this episode's been very strange. So forgive us.
It has. We've been in this has been an interesting episode.
Yeah, I feel like we've been like partially stalling, partially just wanting to keep talking, and partially things will happen, and we're getting through it.
We're getting through it. Ritz likes to talk a lot.
Yeah.
He's like the main voice of the podcast, I'd say. Like if you're listening to it, you're gonna hear the Ritz the most.
Yeah, he has the most unbroken like sections where I keep trying to let the other people talk. Kind of like leave pauses in. That was your cue.
Yeah, I know, and I panicked. But yeah, it's an interesting episode this week. Should we get into 3, 2, 1, or in this case 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Sure.
All right. I guess I'll start. Least favorite, Foxy Shazam. Number 4 is gonna be Universe's Birds of Tokyo. Number 3, Good Dog, Bad Dream. Number 2 is going to be Arlie, Wait, and number 1 is going to be Sisyfuss's You'll Find It in the End.
Where'd you put Universes?
Universes is number 4.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll go from 1 to 5. I feel like that's easier.
Okay. Okay, so you're number 1.
My number 1, Birds of Tokyo. I really dug that album.
All right.
Really full sound. Number 2, I'm gonna give to Hippocampus.
All right.
I like that EP mostly. Well, after that, uh, boy, I'm gonna pick. Ooh, I'm gonna pick Arlie.
Okay.
I really like Tossing and Turning a lot. I will listen to that whole EP for Tossing and Turning again over listening to Foxy and getting anything from it or Sisyfuss.
Fair
After
enough.
that, I gotta pick Foxy. I can't put Foxy last. I just can't unless it was super, super bad.
All right.
Sisyphus is last. Sisyphus, I just didn't have any really least favorites or anything that really stuck out. Other than it's this sound and it sounds cool.
That's fair enough.
All right.
Well,
This is the part usually where we then pick our next week's stuff. We don't know what Ritz is picking. We also don't know what Ritz's placements were. We don't really know much of what Ritz thinks. All you've heard is what
no.
we've heard out there.
Yes.
We
This
will
is we're gonna have to figure out a title for this episode.
Yeah, this is very unprecedented because we don't know what to listen to from him yet.
Yes, this has never happened before. Almost,
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 years into the podcast, and this has never happened before.
Yeah, like we've had some interesting things happen to us, but never quite like this.
Yes. Should we get into what our picks for next week are then?
Sure.
All right. You can go first. I got something that I know Ritz will hate.
Oh wow. But I know what it is then.
You probably do.
So I'm gonna pick the other album I've been I haven't been dragging my feet on Foxy. I was trying to figure where to slot it in. But I was also dragging my feet on the new Alice Glass record, Pray For.
All right.
Which interestingly I learned is not a play on words sounds too fun when it's like a trauma record like this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's supposed to be like a thing of like, oh, pray for Alice Glass.
Mm-hmm.
Or because she considers this her fourth album after the first three Crystal Castles albums, so it's also a number 4.
Gotcha. That's fair. I get you. I get that. And tonally, on the complete other opposite side of the sound spectrum, I'm going to be doing Shaky Graves' album, Can't Wake Up. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And this is one of his more interesting records because it kind of ditches the folksy country sound the most and goes for more like an indie blues kind of sound.
I am intrigued. Ritz might really hate this. Oh god.
Oh man, let's not tell him what we've picked until he tells us what he picked.
Just gonna be a standoff all week.
Well, we don't really want a revenge pick from him.
That's fair. Oh shit. Well, you'll know next week what we've picked, I guess.
Yeah.
This has been Dissonant Waves. Then I've been Dominic. You can catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI, and my new writing in the new Lost in Cult magazine, Lock On Volume 3, will be coming out soon. I also have a short film called Beat on YouTube. I've been featured on the Games My Mom Found podcast. You can search that on YouTube or podcast places as well.
I've been Trix. You can catch me on Twitter at Procrastinating Astronaut with an underscore at the end of it. It's like or Procrastronaut with an underscore at the end of it. That's like Procrastinating Astronaut with an underscore at the end of it. I got mixed up there. I tweet dumb shit all the time. Nothing cancelable, but like just dumb skit ideas.
You just really confuse me sometimes.
I do. My Twitter is really weird.
You've definitely curated it into something.
Yeah.
Like you're almost drill levels of weird.
I'm not even trying for that. I'm just like posting like my straightforward thought process.
Interesting.
So, and I've been working on a bunch of YouTube video ideas that I've been writing. So maybe something will come of that. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. So to recap, we're listening to Alice Glass, Pray For, and Shaky Graves, Can't Wake Up, and something else.
That we'll find out later.
My bet is gonna be Gang of Utes the positions. I keep saying he's gonna pick
Probably.
it. Probably won't, but I'm guessing that's what he'll pick. That's gonna do it for us then.
Yeah.
Us-
Catch us all at the Dissonant Waves Twitter and our website, dissonantwaves.space. We're out of here.
Yeah. Sign us off, host.
Yeah, we'll be back next week where we'll be talking about a weird episode.
Good night.
Night.